Hi, this is Ajay Anand and welcome to Social Science classes from excelup.com. In this video, you will learn about democracy and diversity. You will learn about the definition of diversity. Then you will learn about political manifestation of diversity. And you will learn about the various steps taken by the government to bring people from fringes to the mainstream of the society. So let's start with the definition or meaning of diversity. The presence of different socio-economic groups, linguistic groups, cultural groups and caste groups is called diversity. Caste is a special case and this is unique to India. So when we look at India, India is home to almost the followers of almost all the main religions of the world. As per the constitution, there are 22 scheduled languages. Apart from them, there are thousands of dialects and languages in India. There are many socio-economic groups in the country. Culturally also, the country is highly diverse. So it's entirely different from north to south. There are different costumes, different cuisines, all over at different places of India. Caste groups. Caste is unique to India. So there must be thousands of castes in India. In different states, there are different castes also. So in the context of these facts, we can safely claim that India is a highly diverse country. Diversity is a stimulus to politics. It can be and it is. Because what happens, every society, almost every country right now at present is diverse in composition. Historically, certain people, certain groups of the community and the society, they had all the access to resources, and some other groups of the society, they did not get proper access to the resources. So that is why there had been a difference in socio-economic development in different groups of a society, and this often resulted in conflicts. So the conflicts, they are natural in any society, and conflicts can be manifested in terms of the politics of a particular country or a particular society. So the political manifestations of diversity depend on three factors. Number one is how people perceive their identities. There can be one group of people who think in singular terms. So they think that their community is the superior community and they are the true representative of the nation. They want to have all the claims on the resources available in the country, and they want to divide other people of all those resources and their benefits. Then there can be another type of people who want to progress further. They want to have access of resources, but they do not want it at the cost of other groups of the society. So in the first case, there will be lots of conflict, there can be violence also. In the second case, there will be peaceful coexistence of various groups in the society. How political leaders raise demands of a community. Some political leaders, they may raise a demand which can be detrimental to another community, and there can be some political leaders who will go for all-out cooperation with various social community. So this also can decide the future of a polity of a particular country. Then the third factor can be the government's reaction to demands. How does the government react? So we can take the examples of Belgium and Sri Lanka, which you read in the previous chapters. In case of Belgium, the politicians, the government and the society, they decided to develop a system of cooperation among various groups of the society so that the country can be peaceful. There can be peaceful coexistence of various communities in the society. But in case of Sri Lanka, the government refused to heed to the demands of the Tamil community, and this resulted in violence. Even today, the Tamil community, it has been pushed on the brinks of the society. Okay, so there are two ways of looking at these things. Now let us talk about the Varna system. Varna system is unique to India. As per old ancient Hindu scriptures, the society was divided into four groups, namely the Kshatriya, Brahmana, then Vaishya and Shudra. The people who were warriors, they were called Kshatriyas. People who indulged in study and teaching, they were called Brahmanas. The people who were involved in commercial activities, commerce, they were called Vaishyas, and the people who did menial jobs were termed as Shudras. So all this division was based on a particular occupation which the person took. But in due course of time, this further evolved into a caste system in which the occupation, it no longer decided the caste or varna of a particular person. Rather, it was the birth which decided which occupation one could choose. So if a person was born in a Kshatriya family, he automatically became a Kshatriya. And if a person was born in a Shudra family, there was no way that he could become a Kshatriya or a Brahmana. So now the privileges or the lack of privileges, they were based on the accident of birth rather than on the fact that which profession one wanted to choose. Okay. So traditionally, what happened, the caste system, it divided the society in two main sections. One is called the forward classes, then the backward classes, then the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, or Shudras or Dalits. The forward classes, although they had been in minority, they had all the access to resources. And the backward classes and Shudras, they did not have access to resources. So this gave rise to conflicts. Okay, and there has been a long history of atrocities against backward people and Shudras. After the implementation or introduction of modern education during the colonial rule, and later on after the independence, the modern education system, it continued, the people, they got the benefit of modern education. So what happened, many people from the backward classes and Shudra community, they could get education, and later on they could land up in government jobs and or they could succeed professionally. Even in current scenario, now many people from the erstwhile backward communities, they have risen up the socio-economic ladder, and they have got a new social recognition in the country. Now let us talk about the government's actions to bring people from fringe to the mainstream of society. When the constitution was made, the politicians and the thinkers of that period, they took two actions. The constitution gave universal adult franchise in India, and at that time this idea was laughed off by many politicians and thinkers of the world, because at that time a majority of Indians, they were illiterate, and those politicians and thinkers, they thought that an illiterate country like India, it cannot be mature enough or intelligent enough to elect its government. But the universal adult franchise, it proved successful in India, which is evident with the way the democracy has evolved in our country. To understand the importance of universal adult franchise, we need to look into history, because the countries like USA and UK, they took hundreds of years to grant voting rights to women, and in India we got it at the stroke of just implementation of constitution. Okay. Now another action which the government took was to provide reservation for SC, ST, that is scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Later on in 1990, the backward classes, they also were brought into the ambit of reservations. So reservation gives access to educational system and access to the government jobs. So that is how the part of the community which was bereft of political power, it was given the stake in political power, and there have been many benefits of these two actions. So we can proudly claim that India is a country which had got a women prime minister as early in the 1960s. Then there had been a couple of Muslim presidents. Then there was a Sikh president in India. As far as the top political posts are concerned, India had seen a Sikh prime minister also, and Sikhs and Muslims, they are in minority. In other spheres of life like bureaucracy or commerce or armed forces or medical fraternity, we can count many examples of people at high levels, and such people, they come from either the other backward classes or scheduled castes or scheduled tribes, or they are Christians or Muslims. I mean, all of them, they come from the minority community rather than coming from the forward caste. Especially in urban areas, because of the spread of education and because of all around economic development, the boundaries of the caste system, it has started to blur. Okay. So to recapitulate, I talked about the definition of diversity, then I talked about the political manifestations of diversity, and then I talked about the various steps which are taken by the government to bring fringe groups to the mainstream of the society and benefits of these actions. That's all for this lesson. Thank you.